Now, for the last 2 weeks or so, painful and shocking images of war have been hard to avoid. Images showing pain, destruction, and horror. On television, you can flip the channel or turn it off altogether. But on your phone, the endless scrolling can really have an impact on your mind and your psychology. If you are like me, you have felt it. Let's bring in Dr. Sue Varma. She is a board-certified psychiatrist, and she's author of the forthcoming Practical Optimism, the art, science, and practice of exceptional well-being. Dr. Varma, these are dark times, and I'm wondering what you think the biggest impact is of seeing these images over and over again on all our minds.
Yes. So, repeated exposure to graphic, stressful, violent images can produce anxiety, depression, and a feeling of helplessness, not to mention anger, frustration, and just feeling like we're very conflicted and passive as a result. And I feel like when I talk to my patients, the helplessness feels so profound. And for different people, helplessness can manifest in different ways. Some people may tend to turn to substances. Some people are doom scrolling, so they continue to look for violent images. Some people turn to cyberbullying because they feel so angry and they need to lash out on somebody and they don't know where to take it out. So these are very challenging times indeed for a lot of people, even if we're so far away.
It is also just so casual at the moment. I was speaking earlier with a technology company that tracks the behavior of young people online, and they were showing me how quickly a child can go from one innocent YouTube search for something entertaining to maybe something educational about Israel to something absolutely unwatchable within a span of a few minutes, and then go back to business as usual. I'm wondering what you think the impact is of this sort of casual exposure, especially on the developing brain.
Yeah, so, the casual exposure can be dangerous because if a young child doesn't have the context around it, and they don't necessarily even have the language to be able to express what they're going through, and at the same time, they're watching these images and they're thinking that this could be happening to me. Like, they don't have the context of, okay, this is not exactly in my neighborhood, but it feels so real. And this sort of 24/7 exposure, it's not like we have to go out to get it. It's coming to us, as you said. And the other thing is that casual exposure also causes numbness and desensitization. It's a form of what we call cyber overload or digital overload, when the brain is hit with so much information, even if the information isn't violent, but just constant news coming to us. Our brain wants to shut down, and it shuts down by saying, you know what, I don't really care. There's nothing I can do about it. And that's the last thing that we want. We want to be able to have some sort of a healthy balance between what I say. My patients often say, do I want to be happy or do I want to be informed? Because it seems like we can't be happy and informed at the same time, unfortunately.
I feel like there's something so important in the contrast also between, happiness and informed when it comes to it really being important to inform people with the most jarring images, right? I mean, back when we first saw images of war during Vietnam, for instance, right, it shaped our perception of that conflict. It was utterly shocking to see those images. But now, with social media and with smartphones, it seems like something has changed. And I wonder what you think. Obviously there's this individual effect, but what is the sort of social effect, you think, of becoming desensitized as it seems we're being?
Lack of empathy is what's happening, is that when we feel so passive, helpless, angry about things that, whether they're close to home or far from home, we end up becoming more passive, right? And so sometimes we think that, like, putting comments online, while they are very helpful and can be educating some people, a lot of the comments, unfortunately, are negative or angry and hostile and create more divide. So there is a very delicate balance, and I feel like empathy is so important, and being able to talk to people from very different points of views. I'm seeing so much clash and divide within families, within friend circles, and it's a very hard time right now to be able to get yourself informed because you're only hearing things from a certain perspective.
And obviously your book is entitled Practical Optimism, and I wonder what the practical advice is here. I mean, you talked about the need to be happy and the urge to be informed. How do we err on the side of happy, and can we do it while being informed? What guidelines do you think we should take away from this?
Yes, absolutely. So, when it comes to social media, to have certain boundaries around it and say, all right, maybe the last hour before bedtime or the first hour of my day, maybe I'll protect my mental space, because it is a form of, we're ingesting, this is our diet. How do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to give your time and attention? The other thing about the practical aspect is that we need to empower ourselves through action. So what sort of action can we take? How can we support people? How can we support causes? Can we give back to our community? So like thinking even locally about giving back. And self-care is a huge part of it. Like right now, it's okay to have a little distraction. It's okay to have a little levity. It's okay to have a sense of humor. And I appreciated the little joke that, Martin was trying to share of how to have brevity in the darkness. And really that's what practical optimism is about not invalidating anyone's experience, not making light of it, addressing the collective grief, but also taking care of yourself amidst the darkness.
Well, we really appreciate your advice and your guidance here. Dr. Sue Varma, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.